Hello, Bravo bosses. Today's episode is a special interview with Meghann Turner from season 19 of Married at First Sight. If you watched this season of Married at First Sight, you know that it was extremely intense in terms of its, first of all, condensed format. It was on Peacock as opposed to Lifetime. It was 14 episodes, including its decision day and reunion. And basically, in order to help prepare you for this episode, I urge you to go back and listen to yesterday's episode, where I did a full deep dive with Tane from the podcast Alter Call, where we basically deep dived the entire season 19. And that's very important in advance of today's interview. So today's interview is with Meghann Turner. She was married to Derrek on season 19 of Married at First Sight, which was set in Austin, Texas. And we know that they had some tumultuous issues at the beginning of their relationship with regards to their communication. Then they got pregnant. And then we found out at the reunion that they had actually miscarried. And after the miscarriage, they decided to no longer be together, but that was more so on Derrek's end. So Meghann is here today to tell her story. And so I want to make sure that everyone understands that we're going to be having conversations today around pregnancy loss. So I wanted to issue a trigger warning today, as this will be a very difficult conversation for some of those people who have experienced pregnancy loss or know those who have experienced pregnancy loss. Regardless, this is a very interesting conversation with Meghann Turner. She gives a lot of insight into what happens behind the scenes. She also gives us a lot of insight into what happened really with her relationship with Derrek and what happened once the cameras went down. So I hope you enjoy my interview with Meghann Turner from Married at First Sight, season 19. Let's get into it. Meghann Turner, welcome to the Bravo Investigator podcast.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. So, everyone, this is one of these stars of season 19 of Married at First Sight. So, this has been sort of a transitional season in terms of it going over to Peacock and just the different style. Like, I don't remember exactly how many episodes Married at First Sight used to be, but it felt like a million. And then they had like after shows. And even the reunions, I feel like were at least 3 to 4 parts, right? So it was definitely really stretched out, and now it was really condensed. So you were definitely part of that. I am always just very curious. First and foremost, like, why did you go on Married at First Sight? Why did you choose that avenue to find your person?
They actually DM'd me on Instagram and were like, "Hey, we are you single?" Like, blah blah blah. And I was like, "Sure." They were like, "Will you audition?" I said, "Okay," and I did, and it
Wait, what's an
just
audition? Very
where
curious
you
how you auditioned for a dating show.
I think you have to do like a very small segment of saying why you'd be a good fit. And then there's like more interview process as you go. I mean, it was like 6 months of all kinds of interviews. But I just felt like fate does things like, you know what I mean? There's life and there's a reason for why things happen. I mean, why did this person find me on Instagram and decide to message me? I was like, this is like, maybe it's meant to be. Like, this is what it's
Right.
all about. This is my first marriage. It's going to be to this person. Let's do it. So I just, I'm very adventurous, I would say. So, yeah.
Like Burning Man type of adventurous, or like not quite?
Like, like scuba diving, or like thrill, but not like Burning Man. I'm not that adventurous.
I
Jaylen
don't
is
know how many
way
people are.
harder, is way more, I would say I'm probably a two on the adventure compared to going to Burning Man.
Fair enough. But no, I totally see what you're saying. Like, I think I would feel the same way. Like, you get this random DM and you're like, is this meant to be? Is this how I find my person? And then I'm sure you did the thing where you're like, this could be the story, and this is what we tell like our grandkids. Like, what a crazy thing, right? So I totally see that. That's so crazy. But I wonder how they make that determination. Is it just looks? Like, I wonder how these people are just going through people's Instagram profiles and determining whether to reach out to them or not. I don't,
I
it's
have no
very
idea.
interesting to me. Yeah.
I talked to casting, about it, and they were like, no, like They wouldn't tell me, so I was very curious. I would like
Yeah,
to know.
yeah. You're a little investigator yourself, right?
Yeah, a
Exactly.
million percent. The FBI agent over here.
So was
Yeah.
this a show you had watched before? Like, were you deep into it, or did you not know much about it?
I had never watched it. And then
Mm,
once they reached out, I was like, okay, maybe I should binge watch it. And then I started,
okay.
yeah.
Wait, when you say binge watch it, I mean there's been 18 seasons before.
I didn't watch
What?
all 18.
Okay.
I like started at the more recent. I'm 19. I probably started at 13 and then yeah, probably like 13 start binge watching.
And then there's the Australia version as well, which is also very, very
Haven't
good.
even got there yet. Haven't even got there yet.
Exactly. But did you watch last season, which was like the very dramatic season about like the other couple swap in a sense?
Oh, yes. Yes, I
Yeah.
did watch. Yeah,
I
that
think
was
that's why
wild.
they dragged it out so much because like it was very dramatic
It was very dramatic. That
for
was
sure.
I don't know how they had time to like
Right.
to see each other. I don't know. I didn't feel like we had that much time, you know?
Yeah. So, you know, when this show came to you and was proposed to you, what did your family think? And was this something that you just automatically wanted to do, or did you have to put a lot of thought into it in making, you know, that kind of big decision?
I'm gonna skip over my family, but I will say it wasn't a big decision for me. I didn't weigh it. I mean, I was like, God has a plan for me. This is what he's saying, do. You know what I mean? This type of opportunity, only probably like 1% of people get to experience
Hmm.
being so, being matched or being put together, I mean, I don't know. I always joke that like I would have done really well in an arranged marriage type of situation because I'm so loyal that it's like once like I'm with you, I'll make it work. We'll work on it, like, and yeah. So
So, what do you feel like your problem was, if you had one, you know, going up until this point in terms of marriage and finding your person?
not putting myself out there, not really dating. I lived in the suburbs and so like not in the heart of Austin. I mean, it's considered Austin and it's right there, but it's where all the family are. I mean, it's literally I don't think there's any single people out there. So it's hard to date. And then I like gained a lot of weight. So I wasn't feeling great about myself. And so then, confidence was low. And so I would just say that, I really on Friday and Saturday nights is like Dateline 2020, 48 hours, a good Lego set, I mean, the dogs. So yeah, I was not putting myself out there, but moving to the city, that's really changed things for me.
Do you feel like your friends were always saying to you, like, Megan, you're not going to meet anyone sitting in your house? Because I feel like that was a mentality people kept giving to me. I'm like, but it's so comfortable here.
But he might knock on the door. You never know.
You
Why?
never
Let's
know.
see. But yeah, I mean, realistically, I do. But you don't realize till you get older, like how quick time flies by.
Hmm.
You really don't. You can live day to day and you don't realize how quickly it goes by.
Right. And so you're very busy with work. I remember from the show you're doing real estate, but you're also doing something else. I don't remember. Remind
Yeah, I
me.
work with my family for their family
Okay.
business. And it's surety bonds is like banking and insurance meets construction. It's a very small niche thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of that combined, do you think that that really also impeded your, you know, ability to date or find your person?
No, I think I have like a healthy boundary of being able to um stop when I need to. So I
Good.
can, yeah. So I have a good boundary on that. Yeah. It's not
Oh,
overbearing
interesting.
where it's like, oh, she can't have time to do anything. I mean, last night, Brittany and I, what did I do yesterday? And yesterday during the day, I was watching something and didn't even work yesterday. Brittany and I went to the movies to see Wicked, which was amazing. And then dinner. I mean, I do things all the time. So no, I don't think that has anything to do with it.
No, good for you because oh my gosh, it's even harder since post-COVID times where work from home has become such a thing to really do that work-life separation. And it sounds like you've mastered it. So good for you. Another reason why you're such a great catch. Okay, so you're up there at the altar and you see Derrek at the end of the aisle. What did you think when you saw him? Like, what were your first thoughts?
he's wearing a lot of rings. Why is he wearing so many rings?
I didn't notice
That was
that.
my initial thought was like, he is wearing so many rings. But I was like, he's very attractive. And, it was more nerves than anything for me. I was just nervous about myself, and you have all your friends looking at you. His family is all looking at us. It was just like, ah. But yeah, I was happy to see
Well, did
him.
you feel compelled to look at everybody? Because, like, I feel like as
Yeah.
a regular viewer, like, I guess you feel compelled to put yourself in those moments and be like, what would I do? And I feel like, yeah, I guess you'd feel compelled to look at that side and sort of like
Yeah. I mean, I
wave
told
like
his
a
parents,
queen or something. I don't
no, I
know.
told his parents hello. I was like, hi, nice to meet y'all, so yeah.
And then was there anything though, like maybe even right before that, where you were like, this, I don't know that I want to do this. Like any fears, any wanting to pull out at any point?
Mm-mm. No,
That's amazing because this is a marriage, right? It's different than Love is Blind, where you could be like, okay, once I see the person, and it's not even just seeing the person, obviously getting to know the person. Once I get to know the person, I can test this out before the rules of this experiment end and we get married, right? But this one was like a full on marriage, but you seemed like so confident about it. Like you
I
really, and
was
it again, was it
comfortable.
just like God leading you
Yes,
towards that
God,
path?
like God, everybody when we were in the bridal room was like, Meghann, why aren't you freaking out? I just said, I just feel very at peace. I felt so at peace. And so I didn't have any nerves up until I was about to walk down the stairs and I looked at them and I said, I'm gonna throw up. And that was the only time. And then I was just like, just walk down the stairs. You're just gonna do it. You're just gonna do it. And so I did it. And yeah, I was fine.
That's amazing. Okay, so how long ago did this film?
We wrapped filming almost 2 years ago, and Reem was filmed a couple weeks ago, but I don't remember the exact dates.
November 2nd. I don't know. It's just the day after my
Really
birthday,
not
so I
good
just
with
happen
dates.
to know it. I don't
I'm not good with dates. I do know it was a couple weeks ago, but
know.
yeah, I really don't remember the
That's
date.
crazy what a long time ago it is. So, what's it been like sort of reliving that experience?
Um, well, uh, good, hard, sad, all the things.
Right,
I
right.
think it's a little different for each individual. But yeah, yeah, all of that mixed
All
together.
the things. I mean, I wonder, I mean, you'll never know, but I sort of wonder if this experience would have been better for you if it had been in the other format as opposed to this format. This was quicker, right? This was all over and done with in a matter of what, like 4 to 6 weeks. While in the other process, I feel like we're watching it for a year. So who really knows? But, I know that in the Bravo world, for example, which is my specialty, I know that a lot of the Bravo celebrities say that one of the hardest parts of the experience is people don't really realize that you're actually living this all year long. You're filming it for 8 weeks, but then you are doing the confessionals after that. And then you're doing press before. And then people are watching the show and then they're commenting on it as if it just happened and being like, hey, you. And it's like, listen, okay, like a lot of life has happened since then. And then you're doing press like this after the fact, right? And
Yeah.
then this is a little different for you, but like a show like The Valley would then start filming again, right? So it's like nonstop, nonstop, nonstop of you actually reliving something that happened a year ago.
We did get a good break. Yeah, we had a good
Hmm.
break. Nobody knew us, nothing. We just kind of like slid through.
Yeah, that's so
So,
interesting. I am curious what the rules are about that though. Like right off the bat, like can't take pictures together or can't post pictures together would be my assumption.
yeah, but like the girls can.
Hmm.
Like Brittany and I posted all
Right.
the time. Yeah. So,
Interesting. Up into, okay. And then, are you allowed to post pictures together while filming or sorry, while it's airing? Like pictures of you and
I
your
don't know.
like
It
ex, for
didn't, it
example.
didn't, I was already done with by then, so I didn't ask
Yeah.
those questions.
Yeah.
Those didn't pertain to me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, the first fight that you and Derrek had during filming that I guess, bothered me was the fight about your dog Zoe because okay, there aren't a lot of Married at First Sight podcasts, but I do listen to them all because I just like to get a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different, I don't know, thoughts. To me, the situation is like I think I looked at it the same as you. Like, you're my partner now. I've asked you to walk my dog. It's our dog. Can you walk the dog? What is the issue with it? And to me, I love dogs so much. To me, that's such a blessing. Like, if you were to be like, can you walk Zoe? I'd be like, the honor, right? Like the privilege. So that's sort of how I felt about it. But when I was listening to other podcasts, people were saying, you don't really know the temperament of the dog. I don't know how to walk the dog. She's obviously like a cute little Shih Tzu and probably like, wouldn't hurt a fly. But I was trying to devil's advocate, and so what do you really think was his main issue there? And did you ever come to an understanding on it?
Let me first by saying Zoe was a 10-year-old Shih Tzu who had a spinal stroke, who doesn't walk normally. She has a limp and she has to get acupuncture so that she can actually walk. So, like, she is the fragile prince. She is everything. I mean, she's totally great. I don't understand. Everybody I've ever dated, like, has had a dog. And so, like, I immediately love the dog before I love them. Like, I'm just a dog lover. Anywhere I go and I see a dog, I'm like on my hands and knees, like, oh,
Me
playing with the
too.
dog.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm like, a dog person. I think that for Derrek, more than anything, it was he wanted me to ask him instead of just assuming that he would be okay with it, or that he just wanted to be asked. So it was like
Hmm.
he wanted me to ask him if she could sleep in the bed. Although that was just like, if he was like, it's either me or the dog sleeping in the bed, I'd be like, well, bye, divorce.
Yeah.
She slept in the bed with me for 10 years. I'm not just gonna like kick my precious dog out of the bed. But I get it. He wanted to be asked.
I guess. And you tell me if you felt the same. If you came into this with a child, the child would just automatically do those things. I just feel like my automatic assumption, and I'm curious actually because a lot of the other couples did have dogs as well, right? So did the other couples, in your opinion, take on each other's pets until later? Because we'll talk about Chad later, but like until later, it seemed like everybody just took on everyone else's pets as their own. To me, it just when you're going to marry someone and whether it be their child or dog or whatever, that's now yours as well. That's just
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
curious why he didn't go into it with that assumption. And I'm assuming that that's what you were hoping.
he said he grew up with dogs, but he told me he didn't, that he only grew up with a parrot. Um, yeah, he only grew up with a parrot named Bird, and so I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I tell you, I don't know. I wish they would have cut a lot of the scenes out where I was like, if you don't like dogs, you're a serial killer. Like, what's wrong with you? I mean, so, but I don't, I some people are cat people. My best friend, he's a cat person, but he loves Zoe and Willow, and he's totally every time he sees them. So I don't know. Maybe he's just not a big animal person.
ugh, it's just I don't know. It's just so funny how people can see it in so different perspectives. Because, like I said, I just would have loved it. But the whole bed thing, though, I do have to agree. Like I have insomnia, so it would be kind of an issue. My dog just recently started sleeping in bed with me. She's always slept in her crate. It's weird. And it's funny because she actually hates my insomnia, so she goes and sleeps somewhere else. Like I'm bothering her by continuously getting up. It's so funny. But yeah, I could never have a dog that was like snoring, for example, in bed, you
She just
know.
sleeps. She just sleeps and never moves. Doesn't
Yeah.
toss her turn. Just literally sleeps, does
So it
nothing.
was
And
Derrek that was being the baby.
yeah, I mean, honestly, Zoe is the most low maintenance dog you could ask for.
Exactly. Okay, so you guys seem to have miscommunications from the jump. From what we could tell, there was one on the honeymoon about asking questions, and one sort of later on about, I guess, not about whether you wanted kids, but I guess more so about him talking to a friend about that, I guess was more so your concern. Where do you think like those miscommunications would get like so heated so fast?
Well, one, I am a reactionary person, so I have acknowledged that. Two is I think like starting with the paddleboard incident, um, we had spent the entire day together. We had gone on long walks. We had done all of this up until, that was probably 3 or 4 p.m. So we'd started off 8 a.m., spent all day together. And so for me, it was, why'd you wait for it to be on camera to have this conversation instead of just asking me when
Mm,
we were on a all day together?
right.
We were, you know what I mean? We were doing things, being intimate all day. And then you waited on camera to ask me, and it felt like a got you moment. And
Okay.
that, and that's why I got so mad. Um, and that was the same for the kids' comment as well. Everything felt got ya. And that really kind of I remember things later as they go on, but I remember him saying we have to give them something. Like we can't just be like a boring couple. Like we have to give them something. And I was like, I don't need you to self-produce this show. Like they can do that. And so that kind of bothered me. So that's where you're seeing, I mean, that was him and I had that conversation later on. That's when you start to see things shift and you know, things aren't, they're a little different. That makes sense. But I just felt very like blindsided because I was very protective of our relationship. So I just felt like, are you maybe not being as protective of me? Like, why are you like trying to make me look a certain way on camera? That's how I felt.
That gives a lot of insight that I don't think people had, right? Because listen, as a strong feminist, I wanted to support you from the beginning, but I did see you being a little defensive, right? So I was like, okay, I just don't really see where she's coming from 100%. But what you're saying provides a lot of context that people just didn't have because it's almost like he's trying to create situations or fights with you for the camera, darling. And like you said, there are producers around to do this. So it's interesting in the quote unquote job of reality TV, it's your job to give your real life and to, put it all out there. But there's also a level of respect that you should have with your partner where you shouldn't be like embarrassing them or trying to get them, like you said on camera. So that gives a lot more insight into where you were coming from and your feelings. So thank you for sharing that with us.
But I also want to acknowledge that regardless if somebody, has a gotcha moment on me or whatever, it's for me to react in a better way than to be so reactionary. You know what I mean? So like I learned about myself is that like even if you are put in that situation, there's a better way to handle it, you
I
know.
and very few people get that opportunity to watch themselves back and learn from it. So I like that you were at least very positive about it and you can be like, "Oh, okay. I see where I could have gone a little bit differently." So I love that. That's really great.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, that's all we really got about you guys. And again, because we got this really like condensed version of this season, so we get like these few fights from you guys. So at that point, like what were you thinking in terms of your communication? Like to us as an audience, it really looked like you guys were on different pages, you were butting heads, and this was not going to work. What were you feeling? Like,
Because
what would you say
that's
that's a fair
what's on
assessment?
camera. Yeah, it's a fair assessment of what you saw, but there was a different side once cameras went down. Yeah. Like
Like
there
an
was
exercise.
all like, yeah, I mean, Derek and I, this isn't going to sound great because everybody's going to be like, well, that's what y'all really like, which I'm not going to lie, our physicality with one another was our strong suit.
That's
You know,
okay.
we were intimate every night. So it's not like we had these horrible arguments and we weren't sleeping in the same bed or we weren't hanging out like we were watching a movie or television every night together and then we went to bed together every night and we weren't mad at each other every night.
Right.
Um, so for me it was watching back as, 2020 or whatever, hindsight's 2020. I see it. I just there was a different vulnerability that Derek would have off camera with me
Okay.
that would reassure me that I
Okay.
would be oh, okay, okay, well here's we would constantly do this. okay, well, I didn't mean it like this. This is what I meant. We had this conversation back and forth where we would
Right.
actually would have good communication.
Okay.
You know,
So
I
it's
came
not
back
that the
multiple times.
communication changed. It's just that
Yeah,
we didn't see it.
correct. Because multiple
Mhm.
times I say like, "Hey, look, I'm sorry that like I just kind of freaked out on you. Like that was a little bit that was a little bit overboard. I should have done this, blah blah blah." So like even if I was reactionary or he whatever, um, afterwards we did have good communication talking about it. You just
Okay.
didn't see it.
Right.
You just didn't see it, but it was there.
Yeah. So,
You know.
we had like the different age groups of the girls together. And first of all, did you think that that was kind of fun? Did you like having that sort of mixture of different girls to get that kind of experience from different people?
Yes, I thought it was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
very.
And I guess there was this scene because they try to put you guys together to like talk about your feelings. And, you're not really open to talking about your issues with Derrek with the other girls.
Yeah.
Why did you feel not open to doing that? And I would understand like IRL, but like in terms of the show and everyone's sort of supposed to open up, why did you feel like you just really didn't want to do it in those moments?
Well, I didn't realize how much I'd really like him. You know what I mean? And so then it was kind of like, yeah, I did sign up for the show, but like this could be my partner for life. And, do I want to like talk about it with everyone or do I
Mhm.
like, I'm very protective. That's just my nature. I mean, I'm very protective of Britney, you know what I mean? I'm very protective of of the people I love. And I I don't know. I think it was just that I was protective. And yeah, I
Mhm.
should have realized like, girl, you signed up for a reality television show. Duh, you're gonna have to talk about it. Um, but yeah, I just think I was being protective,
Yeah,
you know.
that totally makes sense. Like again, it's just a perspective that we don't get until we sort of ask, which is why we needed like the 24 episodes that I sort of wish we got.
I wish y'all would have got it too. There'd have been a lot more stuff to see.
Okay, so when you found out that you were pregnant, why did you decide not to tell anyone on the cast? And I guess how did you get production to keep it a secret from the experts? Like, did they really not know until decision day?
Yeah, no, they didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I said like when I saw their reaction, I was like, yeah, they didn't tell them. Like, I see
Oh, you
online.
didn't ask them to?
No, they no, that they kept it because they, want to see their genuine reactions. You know what I mean? And so like we had never actually there was a scene where Derek and I it was actually the morning yeah, it was the morning I found out I was pregnant. I'm wearing the Derek and I are sitting on the couch together and Pastor Cal and Pia are there and they're talking and we knew we were pregnant. We had just found out that morning. We didn't say anything. We were just like, we're not gonna say anything.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just very surprising, right? Just one for a reality show. I just think it's nice. Just
Yeah.
because for a reality show, it's their job to, spill the tea. And we also know that part of their process, or enough of us MAFS people know that they get like these logs at the end of the day about what happened, right? That's why they'll come and say, like, we heard about what happened last night. We heard about the fight last night. So that's really nice that they wanted to see that in real life. Wow. All right. So going into decision day, you know that you're pregnant, but like you said during the series, like just because I'm pregnant doesn't necessarily mean I have to say yes to you or that we have to be together. So was there any part of you that was questioning saying yes to him on decision day at all prior to going into it?
No. Mm-mm.
You were 100% in.
Yep.
Okay. So we got the reunion and it was very short. And I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like we didn't get your story at all. I understood why they
Really?
left it. I felt like we barely, was barely there at the end. I feel like if there was more, I wanted to give you sort of that opportunity to sort of speak to it because I feel like we just don't have a lot of it. We heard that he broke up with you over the phone, that you underwent a miscarriage and that it was really hard. And we had him sort of speak to it quite a bit. But I just sort of felt like if you wanted that opportunity to sort of walk us through what happened from the point of decision day and where it sort of went wrong.
Um, our producers, I'm still very good friends with them. One of them is my best friend. I talk to him every day. Um, And so it was a female and a male. And one of the females, she would always, if Derek and I were button heads, she'd go talk to him because he can be stubborn, I can be stubborn, and we'll both like shut down and just be like, I don't want to talk, like, we'll do this. She would go talk to him. Kier, my producer, would come talk to me, and then they would bring us together. They were literally therapists. They were great. And so when you don't have that there and you're both pretty stubborn, you don't have the people that are like, hey, let's, do this. I would say that after the miscarriage, he moved out a month after the miscarriage. I would say moving into my home, and then the miscarriage, something changed with him. I'm not really sure 100% what that is, but he definitely disconnected, and he was doing some things that, like, looking back, I'm like, oh, I thought it was weird, but like I don't know, but we had a fight, and it was bad in the sense that, like, he like he said on the show, I don't love you, blah blah blah. And then so he slept in a different room, and then he left that morning, um, and then called me the next day, broke up with me, um, then asked me not to be there when he moved out because it would be too hard for me to see him moving out. So the last time I had saw him was the morning of that terrible fight, and we had joined that evening. That morning, we had joined a pickleball league, and so I never saw him again till the reunion. Like when he broke up with me over the phone, I never saw him because he asked me
Wow.
not to be there when he moved out. So I never saw him until we were at the reunion.
Okay, what a whirlwind. Okay, first of all, I'm so sorry for your loss. That is absolutely awful and a terrible thing for you to go through. Pregnancy loss is something that, is extremely complicated and can be complex in so many different ways, in ways that we're still learning about. And, okay,
I
I
bled
want,
for 3 months. So
wow,
it was pretty terrible.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many weeks along were you when you miscarried?
8 or 9.
And when was that in terms of when decision day was?
It was after decision day.
Like
Uh,
a week or two after decision
yeah,
day?
yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
What was
Well,
that
I mean, we found out when we went to the doctor the second time, that there was no heartbeat, so I knew I was going to have a miscarriage. So there's a difference between knowing and then 2 weeks later having one, kind of thing.
So you had 2 weeks waiting basically for it to happen.
Mhm.
What was that experience like for you?
And I was filming too, so it was even harder. I was filming, knew this was this was going to be happening. Um, yeah, it was pretty awful. It was terrible, actually.
Who was your biggest support during that time?
My friend Rachel, yeah. So she was very much there for me. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I can't even imagine what you were going through. Especially having to relive that now, like we talked about. It's who knows if doing it 2 years later as opposed to right away would even have mattered that much, but it's still sort of an awful thing to have to experience. Was there a part of you that wanted to ask the show to just cut your story out or to just because you knew how it would end that you just didn't want to have to answer questions about it later on?
No. It was very healing for me at the reunion to talk about it, to, have the conversation with Derrek. And for people, I didn't even know how many close friends of mine had miscarriages, going into it. The community that I like that have reached out to me and everything has been so amazing. I never thought to cut it out because it is my story. It is an aspect of my story, of our relationship. And so it never even crossed my mind to ask, because I know they wouldn't regardless. I mean, I know that, they wouldn't, but, I feel like it was very great to connect with other women on something that was so terrible. God, it was the worst thing that's happened to me for sure. So I think if, there was one person who messaged me that was like, I watched your show. I'm going through a miscarriage right now. And like, your show is like the only thing getting me through it. And I mean, that was just like, oh, totally worth it.
Exactly. I was going to say, do you regret the experience? But I feel like a lot of people who go on reality TV and experience difficult things on reality TV, albeit difficult and albeit in front of the world, you get those moments like that where you feel like you've touched someone or you've impacted someone in some way and it feels all worth it. So, you know, I'm so incredibly sorry for what you've gone through. I can't even imagine doing that on TV. Do you think your relationship would have worked out if you hadn't have miscarried?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You do.
Mhm. I talked to my I don't know. I say that. My therapist would probably be like, no, Megan. I talked to my producer who was closest with Derrek. She was always team Derrek, and very close with him. She said, um, I always thought that y'all would work out. I just thought it was going to be tough. And when Derrek was breaking up with me, that was one of the things is like it would be really tough for us. Like it would be a lot of hard work. And I was like, yeah, no shit. It's fucking marriage. Like, yeah, it's gonna be hard work. What did you think we signed up for? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
come on. And so I mean, I think she was saying that like we were both committed. And so it was shocking to her to know that. I mean, she called me whenever he broke things off, but it was hard for her to watch the reunion.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think or do you wish that you got more of an opportunity at the reunion to tell your story or to talk more about pregnancy loss?
No, because you're only getting a condensed version of us talking for, I don't know how long we talked. Um, so you're not seeing how long I got to talk,
Okay.
so it's very condensed. They're picking what they want for a 52-minute and five couples, so they're picking what they can.
Right.
And for me it was cathartic to get what I needed to say to Derrek since, he broke up with me and then I never saw him again. And um, now I'm seeing him in person, you know, for the first time, which it was a terrible, it was traumatic to lose a child. And then it was traumatic to lose a husband. So the way that he did.
Right.
Um, So yeah, it was pretty traumatic. I don't know why the traumatic shit keeps happening to me. Like one day, God, I'm like, come on, when's my time?
No, you were gonna get your time. I
Oh, I know.
absolutely promise you. You are such a fucking all-star person. We're gonna get to your future life in a minute, but I did want to ask a question because again, if you are a longtime watcher of this show, like I am, they typically do a lot more at the beginning, and maybe I missed it. I think there's like a matchmaking special, but like they typically do a lot more at the beginning about like why they match two people. And like,
I
can you
gotta,
can you give
I
me a sense of why they matched you? Just I'm curious because we didn't get a lot of that. We just get like these are two people and these are their ages and they have a lot in common, but I think that's all we got. And I'm just curious if you ever asked or if you ever saw those things that they
no,
were like, these are the
no,
things we're matching them on.
we did not ask that.
Oh, okay.
But like I knew it was, I am such a overachiever, and like go, go. And Derrek was more of a calm presence. So it was like the yin to the yang, like we could both even each other out.
Hmm.
Um, but like we had a like biohacking. I mean, I don't think that you saw it. Well, yeah, I did talk about the ice bath and everything, and I do my red
Yes.
light therapy. So we had things like that in common, wanting a family. And I think we had a lot of our morals and values and everything were pretty aligned. So yeah, we had a lot that I saw. I don't know. It's all in my storage unit. I have like a whole thing. I should probably go get that and open that up. I have like a whole keepsake box of everything from it. Actually, Derrek texted me the other day and was like, "Do I have our marriage certificate? Do we need that for anything?" And I was just like, whatever.
But it's a full-on divorce, right? That you have to go through.
Yeah, no, he just texted me about it. Hold on. He just texted me. Um, Now that the divorce is filed, we have to wait mandatory 60 days to finalize it. In that time, blah, 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 paperwork for us to sign. That's fine. Sending
Very
on over.
romantic. It
Oh,
was just,
this was
especially,
romantic when he asked me for my rings back. That was like great when he asked me for my rings back after the reunion.
what is with the rings back? Okay. I just don't understand, like, especially from him and Josh, just the blindsidedness of it all, right? It's just out of nowhere because again, this is marriage. This isn't we're just breaking up. This isn't something small. And especially in your situation, you went through something so huge together. You probably felt even more blindsided that you're just like doing this to me in a sense, you know?
Yeah, and I was also blindsided at the reunion how angry he was with me, like I had done something to him. Um, I mean, the coldness, I have I had felt it before, but it was next level cold. Yeah.
I I noticed it. And again, same with Josh. And the only explanation I have is like they feel like they have to go cold to like give an explanation, I guess, for themselves as to why they're doing this because there's no reason for them to be mad at either of you,
Yeah.
from what I
Yeah.
saw.
But we were just loyal and loved you. Like, there's nothing wrong with
Right.
us. Like, just being like, hey, I mean, and which you'll look back and be like, damn, like they were like really loyal and like held us down and like, you know, open to new things and everything like that. And, you know, you'll figure it out or you won't. But, but that time
Yeah.
has passed. That time has passed. I mean, so
Right.
hopefully going with your new relationship, so
Okay, wait. So when exactly did you see him on Raya?
August 6th.
August 6th. Okay.
Because I have
So
the screenshot of me texting Jaylen and Brittany and saying, let me see, because I'll pull it up because I texted it to my other producer as well.
does it
Brian.
show when they're last online? Does it have that feature?
Well, it shows these are the people, like it shows, okay, some friends who are members, and it shows Derrek. He's a member. Like you're a member, it's active, yeah. Because
Okay.
now it doesn't show him on Raya. So
Okay.
like I'm on Raya now, and it doesn't show him.
Yeah.
Uh, and like Jaylen was like, I think it was like a week because he was telling his story was that he got on to refer Pat, but Jaylen saw, yeah, Jaylen saw him like a week later. It was like, oh my God, I just passed Derrek's profile, and I'm like, how would it be that I got on at the exact hour minute that you went on to refer Pat and then you deactivated? Story doesn't match. Timing isn't matching. Not that I need to call him out. That's fine. It was, but the things that he was, there was a coldness. I mean, I don't know if you picked up on it when he said she's excited to be a mom. People took it as two ways. One, she's pregnant, and then two, it was a jab at me being like, she's excited to be a mom, saying that I wasn't excited to be a mom. Um, Either way is super freaking cold. You know what I mean? And either way is a jab towards me. I don't understand why he has animosity towards me, but that's not my problem anymore.
I absolutely noticed it, and I didn't even put it as a question that I was going to ask you because that's how horrified I was by it. Because again, it was either one of those two things. I'm like, whoa. Because again, there's no reason for him to have this animosity towards you. Nothing bad happened in terms of your relationship. Like, I'm sure,
No.
like you said, you guys got in fights, people get in fights, but like,
Yeah,
it's like a disrespect, you know?
yeah. And I even feel like, we had like a whole nother storyline that wasn't like aired that like I'm not gonna get into, but like I'm still being loyal to him by like not talking about that storyline. And it's not a storyline, it was another big aspect. And I just feel like I just don't want to open Pandora's box. But even now I'm like, I don't know, loyal. Not loyal to him, but like, I don't know. I just think that some things, just moving on, it's the door shut.
Oh man. All right. Well, what is next for you? Are you dating anyone right now? I know you said in the reunion.
Oh, no, I'm not dating anyone. But
Okay.
Brittany and I have pitched a show and like we're hoping, yes, where Brittany and I would do like a little simple life, like us in an RV,
I
going
love it.
around, dating, going to these RVs, meeting like the locals, and us going on these like fun, wild, adventurous dates. So
I
while
think that is
she's not
so
a dog
fun.
person, she's not a dog person, but like it'll be so bougie and over the top and ridiculous, us two like bougie girls being in an
Yeah.
RV, or they'll put us in a camper.
Oh
And
my God,
her,
her nails. Her nails.
yes, and her having to like live with my dogs. And I said, I'm totally going to be like, you have to go walk the dogs, Brittany. It's a thing. You have to be like Derrek. And she's going to be like, no, I don't want to walk the dogs. I'm like, Brittany, can't be like Derrek. She loves my dogs. Her and Zoe have like the closest bond.
I
But
feel
yeah,
like there was like this awkward ending about like, well, at least there's the friendships. And I'm glad that there is, right? Because it was a weird ending. It was a weird ending to the show where they had like five yeses across the board and then like five no's 2 years later.
yeah, it was
Oh, I did
shocking.
want to ask you about Chad though. Okay, first of all, so I guess you both work in real estate, and is that how you're working together?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
but this is
yeah.
post show. Like you started doing
No,
business
it
together.
started during the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So again, I think that maybe we're just like missing some of his story, and maybe just because you got to know him better. Does he have like he talked a little bit about anxiety, but like,
Did they say
what
that he was a war vet?
I think he did mention it maybe in the very first episode. Yeah, I think maybe so. But okay, so is because you see something in his eyes, you see like this fear or something in his eyes that he's not really talking about. You see that he's very uncomfortable, but I guess we're just missing all of that backstory as to what's making him so uncomfortable with the cameras, maybe, and if there's like a good
I
reason, you know?
I think that he came on the show very quickly. I think like
Hmm.
interviewing time was very quickly. So, and I know I don't think he's ever watched a reality show. So like, I don't think he knew what he was signing up for. Like, I really don't think that
Fair
like he had
enough.
any idea what he was signing up for. And they would say, oh, it's like a second job, but it really is like it's a lot of filming, you know what I mean? And so you have to, but I knew that going in. I knew that going in, and I got along great with my producers. I mean, obviously, I'm still friends with them. I think that Chad has a way that he likes to do things, and I think that like he just was over it. He was like, I'm done. I want to go home. We moved into an apartment and everything. It wasn't, he didn't have his animals. He didn't bring them because,
Yeah.
cats don't. And I think his dog is a shelter dog, and so it's like very sensitive. I just think that I will say this: Chad will do he is salt of the earth, will do anything for anyone. Very much was there whenever the miscarriage happened and talked to Derrek about it. And then, when Derrek was looking for a job, he was going to switch gears. He was like helping him. Um, he's a very good guy. I just think that like him and Belinda weren't a great match. you know.
And he and reality TV are not a very good match either, I guess.
He should never, ever. He knows this. He'll never do another one. You know,
Yeah.
some people, I mean, I'm shocked. Yeah, it's not his
Fair
thing.
enough. I mean, when I'm explaining something to my dad, it's not the same because they're not the same age group, but like there's a lot of explanations that I have to go into, like explaining an Instagram reel, just explaining all of the steps of that, what that means. It's
That
just,
does
it's a
not
lot.
Yeah, he wouldn't even know. I don't even know if anybody's shown him what it is. Like, I don't even know if he knows Reddit. You know, I mean, I don't know.
St- Still to stay away from Reddit. But like, yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think maybe even the average person, especially a man, middle-aged man, would know what goes into reality TV. And yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? I mean, we only see, like you say, these small snippets of time and these small perspectives. So I just sort of wanted to get a sense from you as to like what was really going on there. Because, did you feel in any way like
No,
production was like interfering with your relationship at all?
absolutely not.
Okay.
For me, I I don't think we could have done it without our producers. You know what I mean? Like they were
Yeah.
literally our therapists,
Oh,
and they really wanted us to work. I mean, they
right.
really like pushed us to like, hey, have this conversation. Hey, do this. I never once ever felt that way. And I mean, even the executive producers, and then like we had phone calls that were off camera with Pastor Cal. Like for an hour and a half, we were working through stuff. Like I personally felt that they, very much helped us, you know.
That's really nice to know that like the show
I
like
was
really
very
cares.
fortunate. I was very
Yeah.
fortunate for that, you know. I
Yeah.
mean,
So who would you say that you are closest with from the show? It sounds like you said from the reunion, like you talked to everyone, but who would you say is like, you know,
I
you're
wish they
tightest
would
with
have
right
shown
now?
this at the reunion because the whole time I was like crying. Well, I cried that entire day. I cried
Oh,
that yeah, I like cried that night. I told production, I said, "Hey, look, I know how Derrek is. Can you just tell him I just watched our episodes and like how like in love we were and all this. Can you please let him know that like I'm coming tomorrow to the reunion with like I didn't say a loving heart. I said something like, I'm coming from a good place. I'm not coming to attack you. I'm not going to war with you. I see what we went through. I'm coming in. I said, I just want to dismantle him because I know how he is. That I was like, I don't want him to come in the way that he came in. Which it really isn't my responsibility, but I don't know. I know how he is, and so I was like, just let him know that like, I'm not attacking. It's not gonna be like me going to war. Shit, what was your question? I got sidetracked.
um, well, finish your thought though, because
I
you
don't know
went
where
in
I was
with that, and I'm curious. I'm curious how that ended. So
where.
you said, can you go in with this? Can you let him know that?
Oh, well, I don't
Um,
know if they ever told him.
okay.
So, but I don't remember your initial question where I was going with this. My
I think
ADD.
we were just chatting about the reunion and just how you felt that it went.
Yeah, well, reunion was sad. That was really sad. So watching
Yeah.
those episodes was sad, and so I cried. Okay, I remember I cried. Here we go. I remember it. Going back. Cried all day, iced my face the morning of, cried after I got glammed. I just cried, cried, cried. And when I was talking to Derrek, Brittany was holding my hand the entire time. So while I was hysterically crying, just holding my hand the entire time, which she did on many of the times when I had to watch it over and over again. She held my hand. No, Brittany is my best friend. So yeah, there's no second after that's Jaylen. Jaylen on the cast, like I'm closest with Britney, then Jaylen, then Chad. But
Okay.
I'm also close with Will, Rhonda, and Belinda. So, you
So
know,
you really did make a bunch of friendships out of this,
I
and it
did.
really was. Yeah, I know it's not called like friendship at first sight, but
But you know what? I got to get something out of it. You know what I
right.
mean? So I got to get something.
Okay. I saw that maybe there was a new special someone in your life, a new little furry someone. Does Zoe have a friend?
Oh, come here. She needs a bath, so don't judge her.
Okay.
Derrek could never handle her. But this is
Oh
Willow.
my goodness. Willow. Hi, Angel. Oh, how are
So,
they
and
getting along?
Willow is Jaylen's dog, Rocco's cousin, because I actually got her from Belinda's parents
Oh my
and
God,
Jaylen's
I love
parents.
this.
Yeah.
Wait, so they're all related in some way.
Oh, no, well, no, Rocco and they're cousins, but not by blood. I just say they're
Twice
cousins because
removed.
I got
Sure.
it because I got her from Jaylen's grandparents.
Oh my God, she's amazing.
Yeah.
How's she getting along with Zoe?
Well, this one is Zoe does not want anything to do with her, but
Oh,
she's good. She goes to the dog park off every day and,
that's
goes to
great.
doggy daycare and gets all her time out. Zoe just wants to chill. She's just like, just let me chill. So we go and let her get her stuff out elsewhere.
Well, I am so excited for you. That's amazing. And okay, so you've got this new amazing dog, you've got this show. Are there any other plans that you have coming up that you want to share, maybe work-wise, anything else going on?
Oh, just I'm hoping I get my dating show on the road so I can like get there to one of my country music singers. I was telling them that I was like, maybe I'll move to Nashville. Brittany would kill me, but
It's so
yeah.
funny because when I did the rewatch, because I always rewatch everything, I was like, wait, country music didn't end up becoming a problem for them, like Burning Man became a problem for Jaylen. But I guess how long the
I
marriage
listened to
ended up
some of
lasting, I don't know.
I mean, I always joked with Jaylen and was like, Jaylen, don't worry about Burning Man. I'll just send Derrek to go. Like, you know what I mean? I will send Derrek. He can take Derrek. I'm fine with it. It's fine. You know? No,
Yeah.
it wasn't an issue.
Well, were you shocked by how that ended? Because you became so close with all of the couples.
Yes. Yeah. And I was the one that was sent that video of him with his new girlfriend.
Hmm.
And so it was, yeah, it was shocking. I mean, it was shocking because I had just spent time with him at for his birthday. I mean, Brittany was better friends with them than I was, but like Josh and I had gone diving together. Like I was shocked. But, I don't know. He was like, I don't know if they even aired this. Did they air this? That he was on Love Island.
No,
I've never seen Love Island. Okay,
I have.
it didn't
Wait,
air. He didn't air. He was a bombshell. So he was in the room waiting. I don't know how any of this works, but I heard he was a bombshell. So he was in the room waiting to go on camera.
but then did it?
But I guess I don't know how it works. I guess she stayed with her man and they didn't bring a bombshell. I don't know how it works, but like I guess they didn't need him. But he was like in
That's
the
lame.
room waiting. Yeah, he was in the room waiting.
Oh my God, that's so funny. But
Yeah.
again, like with the coldness, I felt him very cold towards Jaylen for like no reason at the reunion,
Yeah. Yeah. I
just
mean,
out of
Derek,
nowhere.
yeah, he was very cold. I don't understand why. I mean, because they talked about it, I don't know, did they talk about um, how he had moved in, like his nephew, no, his cousin, no, yeah, his nephew, then his brother moved in and with like his 4-year-old son, and she's like cooking all these different meals and everything. So like becoming a mom overnight, basically. And she was gonna go to Burning Man. Um, yeah, so it was very shocking, especially since they had lived together for a year and a half. They were together for a year and a half. Um, I don't know. It did feel like, I mean, when Derek broke up with me, he left all my cards in the dresser that I had bought him, like all the handwritten cards I like wrote him, like happy anniversary, all this, and like a working on our relationship book. Like he left those there. And I was like, why didn't you just like go throw those in the trash or like take them with you and then throw them away? Like these men, I don't know. For me, it was like, I don't understand why you're trying to hurt somebody so bad. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
I don't know what Jaylen did to Josh, which I know she didn't do anything. I don't know what I did to Derrek because I know I didn't do anything. I don't know. It's I don't know.
The consensus on the internet, I I'll just speak for the internet, is like those two, went from 0 to 100 in like a minute in terms of us just like completely changing how we feel about them. Like We were
And
like, those are nice guys. Now we're like, we hate them.
but weren't they were so composed, like for our season. Like they were, I don't want to say whatever, but they were very like, we're gonna be a certain way on camera. And then they crash out at the reunion. It's like you did your whole spiel and then you crash out at the reunion. That was just my opinion. Oh my
It's
God,
just,
Derrek is gonna, we're not gonna have nice words after Derrek's gonna be like, what the hell, Meghann?
you know
Yeah.
what? You don't need to have nice words, right? Because you've moved on. Who cares? And he's in a relationship with someone for 7 months now. So he could go ahead. Sorry, almost 8, maybe.
While being on
On
Raya.
Raya. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Active on Raya. Okay. I feel like you give me Bravo girly. Are you a reality TV buff? Do you watch shows on Bravo? What's your favorite housewife show? Give us all the deets.
I love Traitors. I'm a big Survivor fan. I have Survivor Christmas every year where I like put Survivor games and everything, my family house. I love every reality. I love everything on Bravo. Like,
You
oh
do?
my, this is so funny actually. So my mom was in New York, I don't know, however long ago, like maybe last month, and she saw this guy, she saw these cameras, and she was like, "Is that Derrek? Like, is that Derrek?" And so she goes up to him, she's like, "Derrek?" And he's like, "No, I'm Luke." And I'm like, "Oh," and he's like, "I'm on the show, blah, blah." And she was like,
I
"Oh,
know
my
who you
daughter's
mean.
so she's," and it was Luke from Summer House. No, not Summer House.
Gunbrelson. Gunbrelson.
Yes, yes. And my mom was like, "Oh," she's like, "Meghann, he's so cute. He's so cute."
I
That
have to
was
tell you though, I had an ex-boyfriend who like really like fucked me up. And then I started working with a guy who had the same name and looked just like him. And it screws with you. I couldn't be around it. Okay. Like even if Luke Gumbelson wants to date you, it'll fuck you up. It'll just be too weird.
funny. It's actually funny. I just like, I don't know how we started talking or how I thought about this. I went on this fabulous date with this guy and everything. His name was Ron and my dad's name is Ronnie, so I thought that was funny. But he had said that the show had reached out to him to apply for it or whatever, and he was like, "What?" He was like, "How crazy would this be? Like you and I could be married right now." And I was like, "Well, shit, maybe it would have worked out," you know? But I thought that was funny.
That's so funny. Okay, so besides your own show that you want to do with Britney, if you could be on any actual reality show that's on right now, what would you pick? Which one?
Oh, I would definitely be Traitors. Yeah.
That would be good. You would be good on Traders. Very good.
My producer said that too. They were like, you should ask them if you could be on it because you'd be really good at it. Look, I'm always the one who's deep diving into like, oh, let me just figure this out. Like, just
Yes,
give me a screenshot of something. I'll find it. Don't worry about it.
right. And I feel like if you were on a panel with your cast and they were asked this question, I feel like Will would say himself, but I feel like his methodicalness would take too long, right? Everyone would be off doing like a
Like,
challenge and he's like
we just
still thinking about it and he's still
like we're just gonna kill him off because like we don't know. Maybe he is.
exactly.
Maybe he's not. I don't know. Yeah.
No, you're perfect for that. You're cunning. You've got those big blue eyes.
I know. I have to be like, come on. You cannot do it with your eyes because I'm gonna be like just making all the faces like, you know.
Okay,
So.
perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Meghann. I appreciate you so much for being here. Where can people follow you and listen to you and find you if they want to see what you have going on?
At Meghann Turner, that on Instagram, or you
Mhm.
can, yeah, that'd probably be the best way to contact me. Unless you're in real estate, then you can just go to meghannturner.com. That's my real
Awesome.
estate. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the Bravo Investigator podcast in partnership with Hurrdat Media. You can watch full-length videos on Hurrdat Entertainment's YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at the Bravo Investigator. If you enjoy the show, please leave me a 5-star review. Love you, BBs. See you next time.
A Hurrdat Media Production.